Hello BookTube, it's Ben here from the History Fellow channel. I thought today I would do a tag. I've got the title written here. It's called the 2021 Mid-Year Bookish Freakish, or it might be Freakout tag. I've got 10 questions here, so I'll fire away now. Number 1, best book you've read so far in 2021. That would have to be The German Prisoners of War, or German Prisoners in the Great War. It's edited by Anne Buckley. It was a really good read. Really enjoyed it. It was about a German prisoner of war camp over here in the UK, based in Yorkshire, and it was just a nice read about what the German prisoners got up to, what they thought of things, how things were run, the clubs they joined and took part in. There was like the food, the washing and hygiene conditions, and how they were looked after, how they were treated by the British soldiers that were looking after them. And it was a thoroughly good read. One I didn't expect to enjoy that much, but it was a really good book. The second book, best sequel you've read so far in 2021. That would have to either be The Outlaws of the Wild West and The Lawmen of the Wild West. They were both written by Terry C. Treadwell. That's one of my favourite subjects, so it was nice to read a couple of books about American history in the Wild West. I don't often get to read many Wild West books or American history books, but those ones I thoroughly enjoyed, and it was nice to read. Each chapter of the book in the books looked at a specific person, and you kind of got their life story, where they came from, what they'd been up to, how life ended for them, and whether they did well or not. And it was a really good read. Number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to. Actually 3 and 4 are more or less the same question. Number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'm really wanting to read The Civil War in Wales, or The Civil Wars in Wales. That's written by Terry John, and I'd like to get to learn more about Welsh history, and the Civil Wars is a good place to start. So I'm really hoping I'll be asked to read that. That's a pen and sword book, so that's the one I'm hoping for. Number 5, biggest disappointment. It's probably this book. It's called The King Arthur Mysteries. The book doesn't look disappointing on the inside. In fact, it looks quite interesting. But I think it's probably just a me thing, in that I'm not keen on the front cover design, because, well, that's clearly not King Arthur, and it's just some model dressed up in a bit of chainmail, and I'm not really keen on those kind of book cover designs. If they've no idea what someone looks like, then don't try and represent them, is what I think. But anyway, that's kind of more of a pet hate. The next question, number 6, biggest surprise. The biggest surprise has been finding that out that I quite like prisoner of war books. Specifically, there's a couple written by Stephen Wynne. Stalag, I think it was 20A or XXA. And then there was another one called Stalag 383, Bavaria. And both were published by Pen and Sword Books and both written by Stephen Wynne. And they were just fantastic books to read. There's lots of information, quite revealing, and it's always good to learn about a new subject or part of a subject. And I'm really into prisoner of war stories at the moment, or books. Favourite new author, number 7. I might as well answer Stephen Wynne for that because I'm enjoying his books and he writes a lot about World War II history. I've got a few more books of his dotted around, and he's always a good read, and his books are always easy to read. They're not too highfalutin, or they've not been dumbed down so much. They're just a good everyman read. Newest favourite character, number 8. I don't really read fiction, so I'll say I always enjoy reading about Winston Churchill, World War II type leaders. So yeah, I'll say that. Book that made me happy. It was the 2 I mentioned earlier about the outlaws of the Wild West, and what was it? And the Lawmen. Only because purely that's my favourite subject I like reading about, is the American West, and don't often get a chance to read many books about that subject. So those 2 I really thoroughly enjoyed. And the last question, number 10. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I'm going to say the next one. I've always got books on the go, so as long as I keep reading them, the next one's the one I need to get read by the end of the year. And that's the end of the tag. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free below this video in the comments. Drop down what or jot down your favourite books of the year, what you've enjoyed reading this year, or whether you've tried something new and you're trying to get into a different subject or genre of books. But thanks very much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But other than that, thanks very much for watching, and I shall see you next time.